Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about Beth Moore and a statement that she made about the church fearing women. And she's absolutely the worst messenger on this issue. But nonetheless, she said something that was profoundly true, not in the way she meant it, but in a way that we are about to mansplain here. So don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the Evangelical Dark Web for more mansplanations like we're about to do right now. So, sisters, beware of environments where men fear women more than they fear God. This is a Beth Moore tweet from October 25th, and it is a banger. It is a banger. And I'm not ironically saying that. Now, it's not the point that she's trying to make is a "you go girl power" type of tweet. That's not why it's a good tweet. I mean, it's the dramatic irony in this tweet is palpable, and I love that part about it. Like, because she's the absolute worst messenger on this. No one has profited more from the fear of men than Beth Moore, because how many men wanted to say, "Hey, Beth Moore's teaching here isn't really true to the text," or "Hey, Beth Moore is embracing critical race theory. She's really, really woke." Or, "Hey, why did Beth Moore scrub her teachings on biblical sexuality from her books? That's kind of a red flag. Why does she believe that the Bible causes harm to people?" So these types of questions are really central around Beth Moore. She is a false teacher, and a false teacher for many reasons. So, and feminism is one of them. So the point that she's trying to make here is feminist, but let's mansplain the biblical point around what Beth Moore said, because there are a lot of environments in which men are afraid of women in the church and in society at large. And you saw this, let's talk about the Southern Baptist Convention, because they've let Rachel Denhollander basically run that convention for the last 2 years, where she basically got to lead an investigation or be an advisor to an investigation into people that she disliked. That is how petty and how fearful of women that the Southern Baptist Convention is, that they're apologizing to adulterous hoes and paying them 7 figures of dollars, in which I assume Rachel Denhollander gets her attorney's fee on that. I assume she made some hefty shekels on that lawsuit, the Jennifer Lyle lawsuit. I assume she made some money on that. Anyway, that's just one example. Obviously, we can talk about the issue of baby killing, which a lot of pastors, and specifically, again, the Southern Baptist Convention, is a primo example of not wanting to offend women by calling baby killing murder. And they don't really believe that the person doing the killing is the murderer, because the person doing the killing is the mother. They're the one doing the killing. They're the one either hiring the hitman or taking the pills themselves, which is an occurrence that happens around 42% of the time, something like that, last I checked. And it was a growing percentage as well. So that's the type of behavior that a lot of churches don't want to call out. And let's just drop one last bombshell on the way out, and that is modesty. How many people want to have the "stop hoeing yourself on Instagram" conversation in your church? Or you don't need to post booby feeding pictures of yourself on your Snapchat story. How many people want to talk about that? That's a major issue in our society. The simp culture that women are cultivating. They're cultivating a simp audience because that's how women are. Men want to chase what they like, and what they like is what they see. They see things that they like, and they want to chase that. And they're simps, and that's wrong. They shouldn't be feeding this. But vice, I believe, is more of a supply side issue than a demand side issue. So, on the issue of modesty, it's a supply side issue. I believe that's a more biblical way of looking at it. But how many people want to have that conversation? And I'm not the biggest legalist when it comes to modesty. And I'm not the biggest, it's not even I don't even think it's a top 10 issue for me. But it is for some people, obviously. And how many people actually talk about it? So there are a lot of examples in which men fear women more than they fear God, especially in the church and even in the church. I think, again, we mentioned baby killing. We could talk about how the church talks about marriage, and I mean that in a broader scale, and specifically how a lot of doctrines, we could talk about how complementarianism is kind of just a soft version of patriarchy that kind of denies why there are differences between men and women, or not denies so much as it is agnostic towards why there are differences between men and women, whereas patriarchy acknowledges that God has created differences between men and women for a reason. They're not arbitrary. God didn't arbitrarily do this. He did it for a reason. And complementarianism basically plays a more agnostic role, or has a more agnostic explanation for this. And I do think it has some problematic outcomes, ramifications. So these are just some things that I'm talking about. And one of the outcomes is a lot of men fear women because they don't want to go full biblical patriarchy because that's offensive. So they soft pedal complementarianism, and then softer complementarianism, and then egalitarian feminism, and then full-blown blue hair feminism is down the pipeline. So that pipeline, I think, is a major issue. So Beth Moore did, in conclusion, make a great tweet. Not because of what she said or how she said it, but because actually it's just so wonderfully ironic that she's the one who's saying this because of the career that she has, which makes it even funnier in my opinion. But it's absolutely true that too many people fear women. They are simps. This evangelical culture needs to end. It needs to die. And we need to have male headship in the church. We need to have male headship in marriage. And these are just some things that the church needs to talk about more. And a lot of people fear women and don't want to have those conversations. So, anyway, that's really all I got to say about that. My name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you really want to support Evangelical Dark Web, head on over to evangelicaldarkweb.org/join in as a Patreon-like system. But Patreon censors, so we don't use Patreon. We built our own. And if you're one of the supporters watching this, I thank you for that. Otherwise, have a blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one.